In the previous videos, we started in Finale, exported a file into new SmartMusic through Compose. Now we want to log out of our professor account and log into a student account to experience what the students will encounter. Pending assignments. Remember that I have 2 classes this semester and they both get the same assignments. I have to select a part. Remember that the Finale file had 3 staves. The part I want them to sing, a bass line, and then 2 accompaniment staves. Label accompaniment staves as accompaniment and the part for assessment as my part so that students know exactly which line they are to select. And OK. Opening the title gives the instructions. Rubric points 100, and there's that funny word performanced, and close. This is the first screen they see. Let's do a quick orientation here. My takes, once they've done several takes, they will be listed in this drop-down menu. Tracks, I set it up for them to hear the accompaniment. I did not set this up for them to be able to hear their part while they're making the recording. Metronome, I don't need subdivisions, and no, we don't want swing, no swing, light swing, standard swing, heavy swing, dotted swing. We want no swing for this. I'm going to come back to talk about my part in a little bit. Display, highlight the measure, cursor beat. Students can set up the number of count-off beats without affecting anything about making the recording. What students are telling me is that when they have to make several takes in order to achieve at least an 80 in order to submit the assignment, that they end up decreasing the count off, but you can't decrease to 0. So we're going to leave that at 3 measures worth. I had set up the assignment so it has to be at least 60. Far to the right we have an icon with an ear. This will provide the tonality. The tonicization pattern will play an arpeggio and then the first pitch. However, because I input my own tonicization pattern, the built-in tonicization arpeggio will not provide the first pitch. We are now ready to begin. Show assessment reveals almost in real time whether or not I've done it correctly, and this will turn to a green note. Whether I have the right pitch but at the wrong time, it will show a yellow note head, and if it's totally wrong with respect to pitch, then it's a red note head. Notice that this shows that I had preset lenient tolerance and students cannot change that. We don't need loop, so I'm ready to take the assessment. And the first time it wants to test my microphone. Okay. If I start without plugging in my headphones, which I had to take out because SmartMusic has to be able to hear that little whoop in order to test the microphone. Now I can plug in the headphones. Do 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 do. I'm going to retake this and intentionally make some errors so you can see the kind of feedback with errors. It will not give me this mic check over again. Do 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 do. Red notes, wrong pitch, Yellow notes, right pitch, wrong time. Green notes, correct pitch and correct rhythm. That's a 29% over in our score. I now want to show tracks. The accompaniment is on. You didn't hear it because I put in headphones so that it would assess only what I was singing. My part at this point in the programming, if students click my part, they can hear it, but notice that the record button now has an exclamation point. If they try to record, a new screen pops up. Your take will not qualify for submission. My part track is active, should be inactive, because that's how I programmed it back when I was setting up the assignment. 3 options: reset and continue recording, continue anyway with recording, or cancel. I don't need to re-record it, so I'm just going to press cancel, and I have to go back, turn off my part, and that makes the exclamation point disappear, and it's ready for recording again. So at this point, I want to go back to my takes. I want to choose my best one. And if I save, this is saving the audio as a WAV file. I could then open this in iTunes and listen back to it, but I do want to submit it. I want to comment. Submit. Close. And it leaves me there, and then I can go back to the square of 9, go to my dashboard. I'm going to log out of my student account, return to my professor account, and from the dashboard, enter the grade book. And I want to say that that was the treble voice class. Student professor, go all the way. Here it is, far to the right. 100% baseline. What do I see? The green notes. I can hear it. Do, 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 do. As I said in the previous video, you are going to want to play with lenient tolerance. For example, I heard that E flat as flat, and a stricter tolerance might have made that a yellow note or a red note instead of a green note. The score was accepted, the grade. If I wanted to edit the grade and say, oh, I heard that note as flat, I want to change that grade to a 90. The E flat was low. And validate grading means save. And if I go back to the grid page, I now see that that score is a 90. If you want to look at several students' work on the same exercise, click this drop-down menu. The student names will be on the left side of that, and if they've completed it and submitted it, it will say accepted. If they have not yet completed it, it will say pending. So this is the grade book. At this point, through the 3 videos, we've gone from finale file to Music XML. We've uploaded, we've made the assignment, we have interacted as a student would, and then we've looked at their work in the grade book. There are many more details about how to set up your assignments, and those will be forthcoming in future videos.